www.eevradio.org and go to the Artist Spotlight, and you can read all about it. If you click on their photograph, yes, they're very good-looking guys, I can tell you, for their age. They are, they're looking good. But anyway, without further ado, it is American Veterans Radio's privilege to have the co-founder and the one and only, the man himself, Kenny Wilkerson, join me from Nova Rex. Hi, Kenny.
Hey, man, I'm not worthy. That's a good introduction. I like that. The one and only.
You are the one and only.
How you doing, Jim?
Oh, doing great, and we do appreciate having you hang out with us in the world. And by the way, I have to ask a favor, okay?
Okay, go for it. No, it's not money.
No, it's not. Billy from Scotland is actually listening in our, and he's out and hanging out in our American Veterans Radio group. And could you just give Billy a shout out for me, please?
Billy from Scotland?
Yes.
Yeah, I want to do it like Braveheart, but I don't know how. So I'm just going to say, hey, Billy, what's up, man? You rock, dude. Thanks for supporting rock and roll and us and American Veteran Radio.
Oh, man, we do appreciate it. There you go, Billy. Now you can sleep well tonight, okay? I'm going to start off by saying a couple things. First of all,
sure.
You're a rocker, you're a producer, you're a writer, you're a bass player, you're a business owner, and you're an on-air personality. You have your own radio show, and you're also a fellow Hoosier. Too cool.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of that, by the way, not just completely changing the subject, what about those damn Pacers, man?
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? They're making me nervous. I'm sweating it out. I'm like, they squeaked one out last night, but I'm like, come on, guys. Number one seeded in the East, man. I thought this would be the year. And it's just like they are just struggling. Just squeaking by. Now, a lot of teams are, by the way. But it's like, come on. It's time to win one, right?
I do that. I do that every year with the Colts, too, man. So, all right.
But the Colts have won. You know what I mean? They have won. I've been watching Pacers, man, before Reggie Miller. I'm like, come on. But anyway, enough of that. I'm in Orlando now, so I got the Magic, man. Everybody goes to the Magic games just to watch whatever team they're rooting for, like the Pacers or the Knicks or whatever.
I am going to start off. Then we're going to just delve straight into this, okay? But I'm going to start off with an article that was out of the Indianapolis Star. And by the way, everybody who's listening to us, the Indianapolis Star is like the main newspaper here in the state of Indiana, like the New York Times would be, so on and so forth. And this was
big dog, yeah.
Yeah. This was from April of last year. And I quote, and it says, Kenny Wilkerson's wardrobe came straight out of his girlfriend's closet. From the gaudy clothes and the headbands to the dangling jewelry. Loud makeup, this bass player from the 80s glam rock band and Nova Rex, well, he just lived the rock star dream. Did you live the rock star dream?
Yeah, man. I mean, we did all you could do, you know. I'll tell you that, and this is the truth. I make jokes about it in the documentary we got, which we can talk about and whatever. But listen, man, when I got off the road, and I actually got off the road and moved to Florida, my guitarist JP, who I've been with forever, he went back out in LA, and dude, I was in therapy for like a year. Think about it for a second. Think about it, okay? Now I'm pretty well normal now. You know, I mean, I've had a few years to get over it. But you know, I played. I was a musician ever since I was 13. You know, at least I owned a guitar and whatever. And then, you know, by the time I was 15, 16, I was already playing bars and stuff. So by the time I got to 17, 18, you know, as soon as I graduated high school, I took off on the road, and I stayed on the road for, I don't know, 12 years.
Oh, wow.
You know? So, when it came to, like, for instance, prior to me, you know, because, you know, there was a big break there with the Nova X. Prior to me moving to Florida, I never really even went out on a date. You know, I never paid for a movie to take somebody out to dinner. It wasn't really that kind of setup.
Wow.
It was just every night, you know, you're just in that town for the night, and, you know, things happen, right?
Sure.
But our social skills listen, musicians in general are usually pretty messed up, right? But the social, you know, especially starting that young, my social skills sucked. And I still get chewed out for it from time to time, you know what I mean? I don't still have it quite together, but I'm trying. So, yeah, no, we lived it, man. I mean, you hear the stories of, like, Def Leppard with the baby pools under the stage and Motley Crue with all their antics backstage. I mean, we definitely try to copy all that. Now, like I said, even in the documentary, you know, they might have had 1,000 girls after a show. We only had 20. You know what I mean? But there's only 4 of us, right?
Yeah, I get you. I do, man.
So, no, it's pretty messed up. But it's all good. It was all fun. You know, it was the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, and it was just, you know, big excess everything. So we had a lot of fun. Probably had too much fun, but I will say the thing about the band is, especially with me and JP, we were still about the music and doing real business. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
So that was always still the focus, but you got a little sidetracked from time to time, especially eating on the road, sleeping in hotels. I know I went 4 years, I didn't even have an address.
Oh my gosh.
You know, I just had to send stuff back home to my mom, you know what I mean, and swing by and pick it up from time to time. So yeah, it was crazy. I wouldn't change it for any other thing. I mean, the life that I lived was great. There was a lot of fun. Being in the band is definitely like being in the Boy Scouts or being on a basketball team or something. I mean, you had that little group, you know, you got everybody's back, and it was us against the world, and I got to see a lot of stuff. I got to eat New England clam chowder in New England, you know what I mean? Got to eat pecan pie in Texas, you know, biscuits or whatever, and, you know,
yeah, coming from Indiana, that's big stuff, man.
You know, I was thinking about that. I had this conversation with my mom the other day. We was talking about foods, you know, and you have New Orleans has got your Cajun food, and,
sure.
And the South's got grits, and, you know, what they say, like, Philly's got the cheesesteaks, and Chicago's got the hot dogs. We can go on, right?
Right.
What's Indiana have for food?
Yeah, what does
Think about it. Think about it. What do you have for food?
Corn.
And I came to the conclusion. I researched it, and it's the only one thing that I can think. Now, you know, of course, they have, like, biscuits and gravy and things like that, you know, that I ate growing up. And, of course, corn or whatever. But the tenderloins, that is an Indiana food.
I did not know that. See, you just taught me something.
Yeah, no, because my parents were like, where are you going? Oh, we're going to this place. We go with this car show on the weekends, and we get these big tenderloin sandwiches. I'm like, I don't even know. I looked it up in line in Orlando. I can't even find a place that sells tenderloins. So there you go.
Well, all right. that is cool.
Right?
Well, and I love useless knowledge, as Vicky always tells me. Yeah, I'm full of useless knowledge. But let's get back.
I love it.
When you talk about, you know, you basically did it for so long. You literally joined the band, the way I understand, right out of high school, right?
Yeah, just, well, you know, maybe 2 or 3 months, maybe, if that. Yeah, so just right after that. So I couldn't get out of high school quick enough. I mean, I was already ready to go, you know. I mean, matter of fact, what was funny, I was already playing in a rock band at 17 to the point that they had to keep me. Here's how funny it was. At 17 years old, you know, and I'm going to school. I went to Whiteland High School there, just Johnson County. But anyways, I was playing on the weekends, every weekend in a bar band, big top 40 bar band, like 7-piece band, right? crazy guys though, and they were all like 30, and I was 17. But I'd have to stay in the kitchen in between sets.
Right, you couldn't be out on the bar, right, with alcohol served.
Right, but I could MC a wet T-shirt contest.
Really?
You see what I'm saying? Yeah, no, for real.
This sounds like Indiana. It does sound like Indiana.
So that's how messed up it was. But no, so I was already ready to rock and roll, ready to go and everything. So as soon as I got out, I had an uncle that lived in Florida. I came down here, actually joined a band, or put a band together, I guess, the first couple of months I was here. Played a big club in town. A photographer came in, was shooting photos of the band, said, hey, I know this other band looking for a bass player, a bunch of Canadians, and it went from there, you know. So,
now,
and good or bad, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I'm going this way because this is off your documentary, by the way. It's not, or ain't easy being cheesy, I should say. I circled this because it did say you joined the band pretty close right out of high school. But then it says Wilkerson's audition/interview took place with JP hanging upside down in a closet, wearing nothing.
No, yeah, go ahead. I'll stop you. Go ahead. Keep going.
Wearing nothing but gravity boots. Now, is that true or not?
No, it's 100% true, man. I've been through it many times. No, this is how crazy it is. So now JP, right?
Wow.
And he's a mess. He's a mess in general. You know, he's born in Italy, lived there till he was 18, took off to Canada where he had a cousin, joined a band there. He was only there a couple of years, and he hooked up with Buddy Miles, which Buddy's really a legend. I mean, Buddy Miles was the drummer for Hendrix, and then Buddy sang with Santana for a while. You remember back in the day when they had those California Raisin commercials?
Sure, yeah.
That was Buddy.
Really?
So, yeah, so the thing is, now Buddy was a mess from what I understand. I've only met Buddy once a long time ago. He's since passed away since then, but because he had drug, alcohol problems and all that. But JP couldn't even speak English. And he went and played with Buddy on a couple of albums on Atlantic and did that thing back then. So JP already had that going. He already lived in LA for a while. So, you know, he was still young even back then. I mean, you know, what was he? You know, I think he's like 8, 9 years older than me. So, but no, what I did is I was living in Orlando. The band was staying down in Tampa at a hotel. It was like a hotel/bar there, you know. And I drove down and met the singer outside, and I said, look, I'm looking for JP for, you know, an audition or whatever. And they said, hey, JP's in the hotel room. So I go in the hotel room, and there's girls coming in and out, band members coming in and out. I mean, with the hair back then, you could barely tell the difference between them, you know.
I will tell you, I saw some photographs. You look pretty damn good, I'll be honest with you.
Oh man, I look like a chick. You kidding me? It was crazy. And I was a pretty good looking one too.
Yes, you were.
The thing was, no, I said, where's JP at? And he said, I'm here to meet JP. And he said, JP's in the closet. So I freaking opened the closet, and seriously, hanging naked upside down in gravity boots. It was crazy. And that's how we talked. We talked for like 5 minutes like that. You know, hey, what's up? What you do? Kind of thing, you know, what kind of gear you got? Blah blah blah. I mean, it was crazy, man. So that's how it started for me. So coming from Indiana, you know, and all of a sudden I'm in with these Canadians and Italians and in Florida and spring break and oh my God, back then, still 18 was the drinking age.
Yeah, and I do remember that myself. Yeah.
You know, I kind of missed it by like a month, but it didn't really affect me too much. You know what I mean?
Now I am good. Now that you bring that up, because like you said, we were talking about the hair and everything.
Yeah.
I'm going to read. This actually came out of the Fort Wayne, Indiana Reader. It was the paper, and it's speaking basically on 80s quote unquote hair bands, glamour bands, whatever you want to say. And they
cock rock.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, right. They stated, and I quote, "They were rock bands dressed like transvestite hookers. They wore fishnet stockings, spandex, and high heel boots. The band members' hair was often sprayed with enough Aquanet hairspray that it resembled some prehistoric creature. Facial makeup."
That's serious. That's some serious stuff. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. And this is the facial makeup. Well, never mind. It just caked everywhere. Now, is there any truth to that?
Well, you know, some of it, yeah. Some of it was true. I mean, we did go, as a band, we used to get the big can of Aquanet. Everybody did, the big pink can.
I remember.
Super hold. Yeah, right. And we'd go through maybe a can, I don't know about a day, but probably a can every other day. So,
Wow.
no, the hair was teased up to the max. Everybody had it that way, man, guys and girls. It was crazy. And then as far as the clothes, you know, listen, man, I just did a show not too long ago, and I got these kind of like fake leather pants or whatever, you know. But I still bought them in the women's department. You ain't gonna buy them at the Gap for the guys. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But back then we used to just, you know, we didn't have any money, so we just dated girls and they just give us clothes. And that's kind of how it went, man. It was pretty crazy, right? I mean, think about having 4 dudes like that, which would still kick your ass, by the way. And we'd walk into whatever, you know, walk into a gas station, a McDonald's or something. Come on, man. Especially in the South back then. Forget about it.
Well, yeah,
it was crazy.
I can imagine.
But you know what it was is, and I mean that was during the time of you know Motley Crue, Van Halen, that kind of stuff just was happening. But it was just a look, you know. And I tell you, if you think about it, you know how you always think of plumbers, and plumbers always got that little belly, and they got the butt crack hanging out, and whatever, right? Think of a mechanic, you know, he's always got a little grease on him, this or that. You go to a doctor, you know how doctors got the stethoscope, and a lot of times they'll have a mustache and a white coat or whatever. You know what I mean? You can kind of distinguish those people. Rock and roll was the same way. It was just our military outfit for rock and roll. You know? So yeah, I mean that was part of it. And you know what? The girls loved it. I still to this day don't understand it. We were just following the trend. But I mean, I don't know if all girls are just borderline bisexual in general, but I mean, those are the girls who were putting on the makeup for us. I mean, whose eyeliner do you think I was using?
Oh, no, I hear you,
man. Fine, I couldn't afford any. You know, I didn't really wear the high heels, but we all had the cowboy boots with, you know, the pants tucked into them.
Sure.
I will tell you this, though, talking about an outfit, if you Google this, Novarex Smithsonian, this last year we put I got a whole outfit in the National Museum of American History for hair metal, and we got the leather chaps, the spandex. I sent them a pair of cowskin cowboy boots with spurs on them.
Oh,
I mean, come on, for real spurs? So, I mean, I don't even, you know, it blows my mind sometimes. It's like I've lived like 5 lives since then, you know, but it was a blast. We had a good time.
You talk about that. I was going to bring that up, the Smithsonian Institute, for crying out loud. Novarex.
Isn't that crazy? That's crazy, right?
Oh, it's phenomenal to me, because what that tells me is, you know, that place is theoretically is going to be around forever, and one day people are going to look at it and say, what? You know, it's just going to be like the Spirit of St. Louis, you know, the plane that's hanging in there, you know, right? You're going to have your own place.
It's funny. I tell that all the time. I said, 100 years from now, they'll walk in there and they're going to have my stuff hanging there. You know what I mean? That is crazy. Right, listen, it's right now it's beside Abe Lincoln's hat. You know what I mean? Marilyn Monroe's gloves, Archie Bunker's chair. I mean, all that's in there. I'll tell you how the Smithsonian went down for me. I'll just tell you a quick story. So here I am with this documentary. Basically, I took a bunch of VHS tapes, which is already, nobody under 20 even knows what that is, and of old shows and stuff we did and some TV appearances, and I just put them all together. I actually did it with a guy named Dean Robinson, who used to run a rock magazine up there, who lives in Fort Wayne. And we had so much stuff, he said, hey, you should just do a documentary. JP flew into town, we shot the thing in a weekend, put it all together, and I started sending it out, right? Well, anyways, my hometown museum in Johnson County, in Franklin, it's been there some 80-plus years, they had, it's a beautiful museum for real. It's like 3 stories. Honestly, I've never even been to it before. But what happened was I had some stuff, and my mom contacted him. She had some stuff in a Foot Locker back at the house, and she contacted him and said, hey, my son's got this stuff, you know, because I said, look, Mom, I don't need that stuff. I want you to see if the museum wants it. And they were all totally excited about it, right? Well, that's cool. You know, it's your hometown museum. They got my glass in a case, and they got a whole outfit hanging on a mannequin or whatever. And I was there last year to do I did the Indianapolis Star. They were there for that. So I did that, and I thought, well, that was pretty easy to do. So then I thought, well, let me get a hold of the Hard Rocks. You know, there's only like 300 of them now, you know?
Right.
So I thought, well, I got a couple of jackets. Let me see if the Hard Rock will take a jacket. And I just did this documentary. Excuse me. And they said, sure, we'll take a jacket, right? And I thought, well, that was pretty easy to do. So then I took the documentary and I sent it to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And that particular year, they opened up a new, it's called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Library Archives, and they cataloged it. You know, they put it in. They got a library there now. It's like 4 stories, so many millions of dollars, right adjacent to the to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So I sent that to them. They cataloged, and I thought, well, that was pretty easy to do. It is a documentary. You know what I mean?
Sure, right.
So then I thought, well, what's left? And I thought, man, the Smithsonian, right? So I researched it for a little bit. There's like 9 of them, you know. And I ended up getting to the National Museum of American History. Well, I got a hold of the curator, and I said, look, I got this documentary. You might be interested in it. It's about 80s hair metal. And he said to me, we don't have anything like that. I'm like, well, this stuff's 25 years old, or more. And he said, well, we'd be interested in checking it out. So I sent him the documentary. A week or so goes by. He emails me back and says, hey, we like the documentary. We really can't do anything with it because you just shot it like last year. It's contemporary. He said, but we'll keep it on file, but if anything comes around, I'll please, let me know or whatever. So then I contacted JP, and I'm like, JP, what do we got left, man? What do you got? Leather chaps, boots, whatever. So we ended up putting this little outfit together. I took a picture of the chaps, which are crazy, all studded out. Come on, leather chaps. You know what I mean? I mean, who wears that, right?
And actually, I got to tell you, I did see a YouTube of an interview you did. You actually showed those chaps.
Yeah, you seen that even. Yeah,
yes.
That was a little interview. But those chaps, I just got them that day or something, too. But those chaps, so I sent a picture of him, and he said, man, give me a couple days. We're working on something. So he gets back to me, and he says, look, we just acquired a zoot suit and some other stuff. We'd love to have everything you got. So I sent him up bats, the boots, on and on and on, a couple reel-to-reels and some articles and whatever. And I had a base that Budweiser gave me back in like 1990 or something when we had the sponsorship up there in Indiana. And they took that, and there you go. So we were like the first one in the door on that, which was just totally crazy, and it represents that time frame, and it's awesome. I will tell you this, though. This is a total bummer. So I got my whole family rounded up, right? I said, let's go to the Smithsonian. I always wanted to go. Never been there before. Have you been to the Smithsonian?
Yes, I have.
It's awesome, right?
Oh, my God. It's more than the first time I went. I can't tell you. I thought I'd go see it in a day. Really? No, it doesn't happen that way.
No, you can't. That's what I heard. It's like a day per museum, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Right.
So anyways, I called the curator up, and he says, I said, look, I'm going to bring my family. We're going to come up there for summer break. And then I contacted my mom in Indiana, and I said, hey, Mom, my dad, he's just too lazy to get on a damn plane. So I said, Mom, why don't you just meet us there? So she flew in, met us there. We're at the airport. We got there like a half hour from each other. And going to the museum, I got a Smithsonian Magazine article set up. I've got some kind of a video YouTube thing that they do, basically the red carpet treatment, right? With the curator, with the whole thing, the display and all that, right? And back, behind the scenes, get to go to the vault, all this, right?
Oh, wow,
totally
cool.
pumped. I had this thing booked for like 3 months. I went up there, for a week, right? I get there in the middle of the government shutdown.
Oh, no.
Yeah, what a drag. And there was nothing I could do about it.
Wow. That does suck, doesn't it, man?
Yeah, so I have to like try to reset that whole thing up again. So, but yeah, that was, I'm still heartbroken over it. And how long has that been? October? You know what I mean? Or something?
Well, no, I can understand that. Literally. this is what you did for a big chunk of your life, right? And you want to show your family, and let's go check it out. And yeah, that would be a quote unquote a downer, as you would say. Now,
and listen, and what do you do when you go to Washington D.C. and everything is shut down? There's nothing to do.
There's nothing to do. You're exactly right.
I went to Mount Vernon because the government didn't own the damn thing. But listen, I want to get on that soapbox. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I do. Now, you keep talking about the documentary. Can people still purchase that?
Yeah, you know what? I got a distribution deal with a company called Passion River. They're out in New Jersey, and you can go online, and every retail has it. Walmart, Kmart, Sears, Barnes & Nobles, Amazon. You pick it; it's there. So yeah, you can catch it. You can catch it in any of those. Just type in Novarex. Ain't easy being cheesy, and somebody will have it for sale.
Now, that also plays on the documentary channel, is that right?
But I'll tell you what happened on that documentary channel. It was a great deal too. I tell you what was a little sweet about that. Just on the side note, the girl who was acquisitions for the documentary channel, it went to IU, and it's from Indiana.
Wow, that is
yeah, right.
Cool. Yeah,
and that was pretty sweet. But what happened just in the last? I'm thinking like 4 or 5 months ago, the documentary channel switched to Pivot TV. So it's not airing on the documentary channel now, but you can go to Netflix.
Oh, cool.
So just type in Novarex and Easy Being Cheesy on Netflix, and you can check it out there.
Does Amazon?
That just happened a few months ago.
Does Amazon have that too?
You mean the Amazon store?
Yeah, well, Amazon also has like a streaming just like Netflix.
Don't even know it. Maybe. Do you know what I mean? I didn't even know that. That's why I was asking
they do.
you.
Now,
I know Netflix for sure, though.
Now, also, you guys, you did a back in, 2010, you did your greatest hits then and now. Is that still available too?
Yeah, on that, of course, everybody does this online stuff anymore. So iTunes and all that has it. So if you're into downloading iTunes, if you just want to get a hard copy of it, you'll have to go to the label, which is Quantum Records. Just go to quantumrecords.com, and you can buy it. You can buy it there. So I think it's like $12 or something.
Oh, by the way, my executive producer out of New York City just sent me a message. She said, "Yes, Amazon does have it online." So there you go. You didn't even know that.
I don't even know it, man. You know, I mean, the thing has been running for about 2 years now, so I've lost track on it a little bit. But it's still been really good. I just did a national TV show, 3 weeks ago, and we performed on it. It's a show, they actually shoot it out of Orlando. It's called The Daily Buzz. It's a national syndicated morning show. It's on between, let me think, 5 and 7 a.m.
Okay.
And it was the craziest thing I've ever done. Now, it's in 180 markets, mostly CW channels from what I can tell, a few Fox networks, and just a couple independents peppered in there, you know. You probably have it up there where you're at. But, and they pick it up, some of them play the whole 2 hours, some play an hour. It's kind of a crazy little show. But anyways, so we had to go there at 10:30 at night to load in gear. Okay, cool, right? Then we had to come back at 3 o'clock in the morning to do sound check. Okay? Right? And then we had to perform live at 5 a.m. That has never happened to me in my life before.
Yeah.
So basically, we had the whole guy. Nobody went to bed. You know,
Wow.
we're just out of control. I can't say I've ever performed at 5 a.m. It's never happened before. But it was a great time, great experience. On the 2-hour show, we did all the segues into the commercials. And then we had 2 full interviews and 2 full songs, and then we were like part of a cooking show as well. So it's a blast. If you go to YouTube and type in Novarex The Daily Buzz, you'll see the clips. I think I ended up putting like 15 minutes of clips on there or something.
Oh, is that the photograph you guys have on your Facebook page?
It is.
Oh, cool.
That's with the cast of the Daily Buzz. And I'll tell you this in the inside scoop, and you're the first one to have this.
Oh, wow, here we go, guys.
I should know more next week. But what happened was, so I went down there, we did it. Of course, they liked us, but why wouldn't they, right?
Yeah, you're damn right.
But between the radio station, you know, I do this radio station, so I'll tell you in a minute, but we feature indie bands. We also do nationals and stuff, but really indie's kind of our thing, right? That's kind of the meat of the program. And I just did a pilot for them a couple of days ago for the Daily Buzz. And what we're working out right now is to do a weekly segment once a week on upcoming indie bands. And I'm totally excited about that because that'll open up a whole bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? National syndicated morning show. So yeah, I'll know about that pretty soon.
And part of our tagline is we're dedicated to our military first responders, and then we say indie artists, and the talent around the world it's phenomenal, and that's the only word I can use. I don't care what genre you get into, the talent around the world. And here's the thing I've experienced through the 5 years that now we've been on air is the fact that I don't care what language you speak. If you can sing or a song, it connects with people. And even people who can't speak English can sing English songs. It just blows me away.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm
with you on that. Yeah, no, listen, here's what happened. I'll tell you about the radio show. I've been in the radio show since the first of the year. I do a Sunday night radio show out of Palm Coast, Florida. The station itself covers DeLand, Florida, Daytona, Florida, to north of St. Augustine. It's pretty big spread there, and it's on 92.7 FM. You can catch the shows on worldwide on beach92.7.com. And I just talked to the guys last week. They got a new app that they're going to have their own app for the radio station, which is going to be nice because it's on TuneIn Radio now. But what happened was I went up there back in September with a guy named Terry Turner. He's been running the show for about 5 years. It's called Club 927. And what he was doing hour shows with indie bands, all pretty much local, in that area. Mm-hmm. And, 5 years, I mean, you're pretty much going to cover everybody, right?
Sure, right.
And then I came up there, did the thing on the Novarex. I hit it off with him really well. He's a really smart guy. I kind of looked up to him. And I said, hey, Terry, I know a bunch of indie bands, because the way that Novarex ran, we're always right there on that bubble. You know what I mean? So I get it. I know how hard it is for artists to listen. You know how corporate radio is. They're going to play the same 5 songs over and over. So I'm like, there's all these good artists around. I'm, from Texas to whatever. I mean, we featured a lot of people from around the world. Even the UK. I did one last week from the UK. I went down to Tampa last night and did an interview for an upcoming show from a guy from Czechoslovakia, or Czech Republic, or whatever they call it now. And so they're everywhere. And so I'm kind of tying that in with the Daily Buzz. And the thing that was cool about it too is that there for a while, radio got so corporate, and it still is, by the way. You're going to hear your Miley Cyrus, you're going to hear your Justin Bieber, and your Lady Gaga, which are all, to me, are on the way down. Their candle's burning out. But my GM, they had this radio conference every year they just came back from, and the talk is they wanted the stations to play more indie artists. And I'm like, great. Back like it used to be. Back in the day, you could have a good band, and the radio station would play you.
Right.
But now it's corporate. How much it's all about the money, right? So I'm hoping that, like with you and a program like I have, we can get these guys some recognition and give them some love. And then, like I said, back to the Daily Buzz, this was an easy fit for me. You know what I mean? Because I'm doing that already, and I have these talented artists. I mean, I have artists that send me. I had a lady now. Her name's Twinkle. We're going to have her on in a couple weeks. She's out of Sarasota. She sent me her album, and we just played 3 songs by him, right? And I couldn't decide what 3 songs to play.
Wow,
I mean, it was that good, and that never happens to me. You know what I mean? But there's artists out there that are that quality that they're just under the radar. And so yeah, and I appreciate like even you having me on now. So it's a great thing, man.
It's our pleasure. And let me before we wrap this up, I'm going to ask you a question because you just hit on something. Because I've asked a lot of people that I've interviewed throughout the years this question, because there is back in and this is the reason I'm asking you this, because back when you guys, Nova Rex, you were looking for a recording, company or somebody to pick you up.
Sure.
Nowadays, I have found, and I've talked to a lot of independent artists, they like staying independent for the fact they have control. Because once you get into that corporate, as you said, America, or corporate world, they end up telling you what you can do and what you can't do. Yeah. What's your take on that now after all these years?
You're selling your soul, you know what I mean, when you sign a deal. I mean, so I'll tell you what's funny about that. Back in the day, I wanted nothing, because you thought that was the end all in. You're going to get the record deal, and they're just going to blow you up, and you're going to go on tour and make millions of dollars, right? You're going to be Guns N' Roses or something, But listen, if I had a record deal back then, the big record deal, now we've had some small ones and some distribution and whatever. But if I got that deal, you could have played those songs right now. You know what I mean? I couldn't even talk about them hardly. I mean, they would just shut you down. I know guys who had record deals and went on tour with a tour bus, and the time they got back from the tour, they owed the label money. Because it cost more money than what they were making selling albums.
How sad is that?
But the label owed them. They owned them, you know what I mean? So right now you can do an indie. Listen, a lot of these artists, even the big guys, are doing their own labels. It's only about distribution at this point. Now you need to get some exposure, and you're going to need some money. You know what I mean?
Sure, right.
But yeah, doesn't matter as much anymore. No. Same with films too. I mean, I just did a documentary on VHS tapes, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it cost me $250 million, right?
Exactly. Well, Kitty,
make $80 million. So.
Kitty, thank you so much for joining us.
Jim, I totally appreciate it. I want to give a shout-out to a couple people. Is that cool?
Sure, absolutely.
Well, I got a new co-host that starts next week. Her name is Ray Girl. She is crazy, entertaining, and it's going to be a blast. You have to check it out. You can check it out on Club 927 Facebook page. You can see all the stuff that's going on, and obviously you can check out our show, Club 927, on beach92.7.com or whatever. And I want to thank the guys from Budweiser, man. They still got our backs. Jim Holleran, who's the head of marketing and entertainment, Carlene Rowe, she's a part of the entertainment as well, and Natalia, she's great. Those guys take care of me, and just everybody else out there for supporting rock and roll. Totally appreciate it.
Well, everybody, you just heard, and how cool was that? We've spent like the last 35 minutes. When's the last time you did an interview and you had no time limit?
Now.
And see, that is what makes American Veterans Radio different, is the fact that we are literally here to entertain, and we all are volunteers, so there's no, as I say, pretentiousness here. It's just about all having a good time and entertaining the best listeners in the world, and that's what we do. And you just made a lot of people's day, and I know Billy, who's listening over in Scotland, which is rather late, by the way. So just thank you. That's all I can say.
Hey, Jim, God bless our troops, and God bless them for letting us rock and roll.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, please go out to our website, www.evradio.org. Go to the Artist Spotlight. You can click on their photograph. It will take you to their Facebook page, or you can go directly to their Facebook page and tell them that you heard Kenny Wilkerson, the co-founder of Novarex, right here on American Veterans Radio. Everybody, let's give it up for him. Here is Novarex, I Just Want to Rock. Thank you, Kenny, and be right back.
Thanks, man.